Hey, beautiful soul, Shine here. Just wanted to share a little thought about resting and filling up and trusting that I'll get back to that place of high energy and excitement. And I've realized that when I was little, I would spend at least a day a week, often just watching movies, relaxing, kind of doing not that much, and for me, I was sport heavy, so I just loved sports. I was always outside. I was always playing, and but I remember I went to a boarding school, and every Sunday there was like movie days, and you'd literally just watch movies all day, and it was the best. It was so fun, and and I remember sometimes I would work at summer camp and just get so tired and burnt out, and then I would come home and I'd spend like 3 days doing nothing but just watching shows or relaxing or reading or whatever and going for walks. And then after a few days, I would come back to my full normal energy. And I started to learn to really trust that if I just did nothing, eventually I would feel excited again. And then as I developed the vision for Unite, along with Crystal and other people who are involved, um, something shifted, and entrepreneurs who are, the primary visionary, if they stop working and thinking, the thing will probably die. We'll know what this is. It's kind of, I guess it would be the difference between having your own baby and babysitting or whatever, where all of a sudden it feels like there's this huge responsibility. And for me, there was weight around perfection and wanting it to be just right, and just this feeling of like, oh my God, like there's this big vision and I have to do it all, and if I'm not on, it means it's not getting done, and like it has to be me because no one else is good enough yet or whatever. And I had all these stories that caused a lot of stress and a lot of like self hatred at times, of feeling like, oh, you're so stupid, you're so useless, you can't focus, you're not good enough, and just this negative talk. And I'm still working on it, but I feel like I've gotten through a big part of it. And just this feeling like we had our big event last Sunday. So it's been almost a week, and I've gotten some work done, but I haven't felt that like full force, focused, excitement, energy. And yesterday I was just kind of chilling and watching my favorite show and playing on the phone and watching things and doing a bit of work. And it's kind of been that for the last few days. And what used to happen for me is this feeling of like I couldn't even stay home because I was so negative if I was near the computer and I could do something. I think I have some kind of what some people would call ADD or whatever, but it was hard for me to even be in the house when I was in that state because I was so wrapped up in my productivity and my ability to execute on things and move things forward and be in a high vibe state so I can attract all the things that we need to grow the company, and I can do all the actions and all that stuff. And what I'm getting better at is, number one, just letting myself rest and getting things to a place where I feel comfortable just being in my room, in my chair, with the ability to do work and not doing work, and just being like, okay, I'm just gonna chill, I'm just gonna relax. And otherwise, going for drives. I realized for me, going for drives and watching a movie in a theater are two of the only places where it feels like I'm not allowed to turn on my phone and get distracted or whatever, and it's very calming, especially driving. It's very like relaxing for me, because my brain, I feel like it often needs something to do, and it doesn't do well if it's just kind of whatever. So yeah, driving in movies. But so that's one. The one of them is just making it okay to relax and chill. The other one is, and this is something that I've been really, deep into for a long time, is around how to heal or clean up or clear the negative patterns, the negative self-talk, the negative beliefs, whatever I feel is holding me back. And I feel like I know how this got developed a little bit, where my mom suffered depression after my dad passed away. My dad passed away because, well, part of the belief that I guess got attached to me somehow. Of course, I had a role in it, but it feels like it was part of a greater circumstance. Was that my dad passed away because he hadn't dealt with his childhood abuse trauma, and so I developed this belief that if I didn't heal my stuff, if I didn't fix everything, if I didn't get to the bottom of what was going on and what was, there in terms of traumatic memories or negative patterns or whatever, that somehow I would die or become depressed. And so I had a very strong push to just find whatever was going on and just get rid of it and heal it and fix it and clear it. And I spent many years in this cycle of like trying to get to the bottom of things and just doing breath work until I was toast, and really hardcore, painful. And you can probably get the sense that it didn't really work that way. And I love what Abraham says, that you can't get to the bottom of things because there's no bottom. There's only more of what you focus on. And if you focus on healing and clearing trauma, you will just bring up more trauma from this life, from past lives, and you'll create more trauma in the present that then you have to heal from. And it's just, it's like a never-ending cycle. And I really experienced that deeply and can speak to that. If anybody's feeling like they just need to go and clear everything, feel free to listen to this or give me a message, and I'll give you my best response. But it wasn't until I finally went to the Abraham Hicks cruise. We went on a cruise from Barcelona to France and Italy and back, and it was 12 days on the ocean and then a few days in Barcelona on either end. And it was so lovely. We had just sort of raised our first $100,000 plus money from friends and family for Unite, and we were just super burnt out and super low, and I just knew that this thing of me needing to fix everything and clear everything, and I knew I didn't have a handle on it, and I knew I needed some help, and it just felt like this could somehow help, and did it ever. It was really powerful. It was really beautiful. And basically the disconnection, the not needing to make money right away, the disconnection from regular circumstance and work, and the presence of beautiful, easy to feel good about things like a person cleaning your room every day and putting chocolates on your pillow and the best food ever all the time, as much as you want. It felt like it was free because we prepaid for it. And every day getting to see a new beautiful, like spectacular, crazy, like Roman Colosseum and Rome and Magala and like Malaga and all these epic like crystal caves. It's just ridiculous. The monkeys in wherever that place is, where it's a really thin sort of outlet from the Mediterranean into whatever, the Atlantic, I guess. And it was just so magnificent. And then the Abraham, there was, I think, 5 hour Abraham sessions during the 12 days. And there was something about that that really allowed me to like sink in. And for the first time that I can remember, soothe and calm and soften myself into what Abraham calls the receiving mode, where I just received beautiful, positive, nurturing, loving thoughts. Like, it's okay. It's all going to be okay. You got this. You're enough. You're worthy. You're good. You're blessed. Everything's okay. It's all coming. There's no rush. And it was just this, like, I was sitting in a hammock looking at the Mediterranean, which was the perfect temperature in September. This was in 2019, where you could just be naked outside in the middle of the night. And it was perfect temperature. And we were at if you're ever going on a cruise, get the one with, it's like not much more at all. It's like $100 more. But get the cabin with the sliding door patio, because just being out there is so amazing. It's just unbelievable. So being in this hammock, feeling this serenity, this peace, and just feeling like such relief and such relaxation. And every time I've gone to an Abraham event, I think I've been to 3 now, I've attracted an opportunity to ask them a question. And so I did, and we talked, and it was great. And then when I saw them in Seattle after this, I asked again, because what was happening was I had stopped trying to clear and fix and heal everything, but I was coming up against this really intense backlash, whiplash of like going out, getting into the vortex and hearing my soul, spirit, whatever, receiving mode just blissed out, blessed, so happy, and then coming home and just getting hammered by past programs and negative beliefs and thoughts and triggers. And it's just like, what the hell? It was super intense. And I asked Abraham, like, what do you do? How do you do this? Like, what's the path? Like, this is why I feel like I need to clear, is because it feels like I just can't even survive being around these old patterns. And what Abraham and I eventually came up with was this idea of, if something comes up, do your best in the moment to feel a little bit better about anything, and just feel better. And whatever's the path to feeling a little better, do that. And whatever feels a little better, do that. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't need to be about that thing. It doesn't need to clear it up. It doesn't need to fix anything. It just needs to feel better right now. And whatever is the best feeling better that you can find, do that. Find that. Feel that. Think that. Eat that. Whatever. That's fine. Like, whatever feels better, do that. And then from there, what I found was I would get into these really high vibe, really like crazy flow state, beautiful receiving mode, best ever, feeling amazing. And I wondered what would happen if I just spent like a day in it. If I just did nothing but that, didn't go home, didn't work on anything, just bathed in it. So I went for a drive and just started driving towards Kelowna from Vancouver, and just went for 12-hour drive, slept the night somewhere, another 12-hour drive the next day. And what I found was, by being in just these ascending states of higher vibrational feeling, good, relaxing, enjoying, receiving, that I started to actually receive thoughts that soothed the problems that I felt like were really perpetual, coming up over and over again, challenging things. And that's kind of what Abraham says, is like, you will be guided to heal and fix and clean up when you're in your highest of states. And unless you're there, it's not really productive to try and fix and figure. because there's so much momentum in those states that it's easy to get stuck and sort of be in that cycle. And what I found is that when I'm in those states, it's not hard. It doesn't feel rough. When I do that, when I try and do that when I'm in the middle of something, I feel like I want to cry, I want to breathe, I want to move, I want to like shake it. I have to like do all this work. Whereas when I'm already in a really high vibe state, I just kind of like talk about, like I just talk about it. It's like, oh yeah, no, I understand that, and just kind of find thoughts that feel better and sort of talk myself out of it and just feel good. And Bashar talks about the way to heal negative beliefs is to just understand them and say, and just to sort of see that the reason that they feel bad is because they're not true. And here's how they're not true, if that's important. And once there's an awareness of that, it's hard to hold on to a belief that you know is bullshit. You know it's not true. You're like, oh yeah, that's not real, that's not true. And so what's been really helpful is to get into these states of just kind of blissful relaxation without the need to clear and without the need to work. Kind of just more of a, okay, what's the best feeling I can find? And just trusting that if it takes a week or a month, that's fine, but do your best to just get in the flow. I don't think it's ever taken that long for me. Like a week or two, I think, is, probably the most, even after a really hard moment. But I feel so worth it to just be in that receptive mode. And what happens for me in that receptive mode is I can ask any question I want and get an answer. And it's not myself. It's not my shine identity answering it. It's an answer that I wouldn't have given sometimes, or didn't know, or wouldn't have thought that was the right answer. But it just feels right and it feels easy, and I just know it's my higher self or my soul or whatever you want to call it. And the way that I know I'm in that place is I'm in that feeling better place. I'm fully surrendered and receiving and just getting these beautiful thoughts that just feel better and better and better. And all of a sudden, I just hear, what do you want to talk about? And then nothing. And if I surrender and I meditate and I just fully receive, I just hear, what do you want to talk about? And then nothing. And then I can just talk and just ask questions, or that's kind of where I wanted to know what comes after that, if I just stay in that. Because at a point you're like, okay, I don't have anything else to talk about. And that's when I really got into like, ooh, I can clean up and soothe things, but from this different place, which feels so good, feels so nice. And so, yeah, that is what I wanted to share. Don't be afraid to relax and follow your bliss without knowing exactly where it's taking you, and just to do what feels a little better in the moment, and then to follow that until you can really talk to your soul or whatever you call it, and then follow that and get that clarity. And I thought for a long time that clarity was the most important thing, that once I knew what I wanted, once I knew what blah blah blah, then something would be different. And definitely it's nice to feel that certainty and that clarity, and I feel like I have that. For as far as I can see, I feel like I know what I want to do with my life, or a lot of it, most of it. But that didn't really make that much of a dent when I was in negative states and kind of spiraling down, because it was like, yeah, now I know what I want and I can't get there, and it's my fault. And so it wasn't actually that important. Like, the clarity is great, and I feel like the most important thing is the consistent in the vortex, surrendered, following the bliss, and it's almost like the not. It's like knowing where you want to go, but not knowing exactly how to get there, and trusting intuition and clarity from my higher self on how to get there. Yeah. So, anyways, hope you're doing amazing. Love you all so much, and we'll talk soon.